Hey everyone. So I had previously said that I did not want to do a rankings video for DPS because there were so many, and it was kind of the way a lot of people were doing it is kind of how the matchups are when there's certain combinations. So I was like, I don't really want to get entangled and all that type of stuff. But when after reading the comments in my last my support characters rankings, there were so many people that said they wanted to see what I had to say about the DPS and things like that. So I was like, okay, why not, especially with the new year. So since there's so many, I think I'll cut the intro pretty short. And I learned my lesson from the support video I made a while ago. Like, also keep in mind that DPS is, in my opinion, the least important class in the game. Unless you're flanking, or unless you're like Sojourne or something, where at higher levels, Sojourne just kind of decides who wins or loses. I think less so now, but I'll get into that later. But yeah, I think support characters are the most important part of the team, and then after that's the tank, and then DPS is kind of there for for cleanup. So the reason I'm saying this is because almost all the DPS characters are essentially viable. I think, save for like three, like the rest of them are definitely playable. There are some who are like very powerful who just kind of dominate, but yeah, as long as your support characters are doing their thing and your tank is doing their thing, you will always get some type of value from the DPS, unless they're like unless I guess they can't aim. So the way I'm gonna set up this rankings video is I'm gonna try to rank the characters by themselves, like not in combination with anybody else. For example, Sojourne and Mercy, right? That combination is very powerful, but I'm not gonna I don't want to kind of mix them together, or else Pharmacy would be up there too, right? So I don't want to. I'm just gonna focus on the character themselves, how to do by themselves. I know other videos, the way they do it is they kind of do what's part of the meta. I don't want to do that. I want to do how good they are by themselves. Maybe another day I'll do a video about the best combinations and things like that. But I really want to keep this an analysis of the character themselves. So anyways, with that, let's begin. So the first one is Sojourne. I think that one is obvious. She's still very powerful. They've tried to nerf her a few different times in different ways, in every single way that the community tells them not to not to nerf. They keep ignoring like the core problem with her. And if you look at my Doomfist guide videos, you'll see that in many games, it's either my allied Sojourne or the enemy Sojourne that's just completely killing everybody. Like a lot of the times, like once they get one, they get another one, and then it just kind of snowballs from there. The big thing with her is she has that headshot potential to just click on somebody and they die. She's really small and hard to hit, and she can slide in and out and reposition out of like any situation. They nerfed her disruptor shot, but that didn't really make her any worse. Well, I guess so. They have given her nerfs before, but I guess what makes her so powerful is her combination with Mercy. The thing with Sojourne is I don't think she's as powerful as she is by herself anymore. I think she's pretty manageable, by herself. The issue is there's that Mercy component. And like I said earlier, the way I want to set this rankings up is how they do by themselves, because we can do any number of combinations for all sorts of things, which is what I've seen other ranking videos kind of do. I don't want to do it like that. I kind of just want to see what the character themselves has to offer. So I don't think she's as powerful as she used to be. Like, I think she's pretty manageable now, especially if you're not top 500 or anything like that. But the thing with her is, if you want to play Widow, just play Sojourne. If you want to play Ashe, just play Sojourne. If you want to play Soldier, just play Sojourne. Or if you want to play McCree, well, you get it. So she does all the killing things all these other characters can do. But I don't think she is as powerful as she used to be. And that actually ties into a lot with the number 2 on the list. So number 2 is Junkrat. And early Overwatch 2, or even in the beta, everyone was saying that Junkrat was low tier. Like, he did not fit with Overwatch 2, and his damage was too inconsistent. And I was very against this thought. Like, Junkrat always gets value. And I was my channel wasn't like that big or anything, but I was saying, why are people saying this? Like, it's ridiculous. Junkrat is so crazy powerful. You don't even need to see who you're attacking to be able to kill them. He is not at all like such a difficult character to play and does so much damage. Like, I honestly, I think he's like right behind Sojourne in value as a singular character. He is so for DPS. He's so valuable. He always gets high value. I would say maybe the only big difference between a high level Junkrat and a low level Junkrat is the path they use for their ultimate. Because I've seen you guys have seen some games where I get matched with like some Junkrat who's just always using his ultimate like into the team, like from the front, where I'll just kind of shoot it down. Or even if I have one on my team that's doing that dumb stuff. But yeah, like that's like you always get value. You don't even just choke the spam. You know, you don't even need to be close to do a lot of damage to people. You just get on the high ground, stay far away, and just start shooting it. And then you get a pick over here, get a pick over there, and you know it's high value no matter what. The big thing is, I guess, for all DPS characters, one, there are no more shields. He does a ton of damage, and most importantly, he is great at taking space. And if you look at my How to Play Doomfist guide videos, you know, the big thing is just controlling a space, controlling an area, preventing the other team from getting there. And he just spams there, and they're like, okay, let me just go around. And then you just go around and you start shooting over there too. And then they're like, we gotta push, we're wasting too much time. And then, you know, somebody pushes up and they die. And it's like, okay, now it's a 5v4. You can get good enough. You can just use them to take out Pharahs, right? You just jump up in the air with your mine, and then you shoot the Pharah, throw a mine on her, and then she's dead. Like I do that a lot too. I've seen a lot of people do it. I do that a lot. It's he's just high value, and he's useful throughout the entire range of rankings, from bronze 5 to, well, I would say like let's say Masters 3. That's like my experience. He's just extremely good at preventing the team from taking space, which is what the back when Overwatch first came out, there was another another role in the game called the defense role, and it was kind of the opposite or the antithesis of a tank role, where tanks were meant for you to take space, and defense role was made to prevent the team from taking space. So you know, Mei was in there and things like that. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. So the next one is Reaper, and Reaper is strong and has always been strong. He's kind of like a Winston, where he has a purpose, and he's really good at that one purpose. Wait, he actually kind of has two purposes, but for those two purposes, he's really good at each of them. But the big thing he's good for, I would say, is he's great at shredding tanks, and he's great at getting to the backline and harassing support characters. And guess what are the two ways to win a fight in Overwatch 2? You either kill the tank or you kill the support characters. And he's pretty good at both of them. Now, he does have issue, maybe not so much anymore because the maps are so big. But it takes him some time to get into like the backline or where he needs to go. So that is something that, you know, there's a learning curve to that, just kind of getting into the fight. But when he's in there, he's hard to kill. He does a fuck ton of damage. If I'm playing a Reaper and the tank is fighting another tank, I'm gonna join in with him. Like I'm gonna join in with the tank, and I'm gonna straight up shut up the other tank that he's fighting. Or even if my tank ally is, you know, fighting the support line, I'll be in the back line with him. So I guess I can say he's like one of the best escorts for a escorts. He's one of the best escorts for a tank. Like no matter what the tank is doing, if he's with the tank, whether the tank is fighting a tank or fighting the back line, the support line, he just kind of murders. He's a great number 2. So I guess I'll say that is what his role is. I'll say his ultimate is like very powerful if you're smart about it. Now a lot of people, you know, they save up for it. It's really easy to stop, but also I guess it's easy to stop once it's been going for a while. At the beginning, I would say it's not that easy to stop unless you're like looking at him. But if he just kind of drops down from the top, by the time he like lands on the ground, he probably killed your Mercy with his ultimate. So yeah. But then you can just throw a spear at him, throw a rock at him, sleep him, you know, just a bunch of stuff. And this one might get in trouble. I know people are gonna be mad at me, but I would say my number 4 is Mei. And yeah, I think she's very strong. I think she's a little slept on. Her ability to survive is absolutely disgusting. She does a ton of damage now, not only with her secondary, but her primary really messes people up and slows them down. And it's great against flankers, Lucios, Doomfists, like anybody who's moving around. And it's like, I think it's like 100 damage a second or something like that, which is a lot, especially for something that spreads and with how that doesn't need any aim. And on top of that, she can make walls, which is very important. I think that's something that's very undervalued. Her ability to make walls, her ability to contest or like, heal herself, and yeah, if you play her right, she's extremely oppressive. She can be very aggressive with all of her defensive abilities. And her ultimate is, again, it's a game winning ultimate, right? It's hard to not get value off of her ultimate. Now, the issue with Mei is, a lot of times you play with the Mei who's putting up walls that it's like she's against the team. It's like she's just trying to stop everything you do. But I'm talking about a reasonable Mei. I think she's kind of like she's like Reaper. I would say she's like Reaper, where she's just such a good number 2 to the tank. She really just cleans up with them if played correctly, and even protecting and keeping herself alive. So yeah, when she's not impeding her own team, she's very useful. So for number 5, I have Ashe. I think Ashe is pretty solid. She kind of does the thing that Sojourne does, where she's able to be like kind of a McCree and a Widow at the same time, but not really OP, while Sojourne is like a soldier and a Widow at the same time, but extremely OP. But yeah, she's solid damage, good mobility. Her dynamite is still very powerful. She gets her ultimate like every 2 seconds because of her dynamite. And yeah, not just the actual damage, but the AoE itself. She's just really good. It's not much to say. Trying to see what else. Yeah, she's just all around pretty solid. If you know what to do, when to do it. But yeah, at the same time, if you can play her, might as well just play Sojourne, right? But yeah, so she's solid. Not much to say here. Next, I have Echo, and Echo is my second main DPS. And what's interesting about her is that nobody plays her. Like, she's very powerful, but nobody plays her. She's a little weird to play. I guess I would say, but she's very powerful. Her burst damage is almost like unparalleled. It's paralleled by other people. But yeah, her burst damage is extremely powerful. She's great at shredding through tanks, shredding through shields, and throwing bombs onto a squishy and then melting them with her beam. Essentially kills everybody if you're not a tank. Everybody who's not a tank. The only issue with her is that she's a bit wonky to aim, because if you're in the air, she's still moving and she's like really floaty, while the other person is also moving. So you're like aiming at a spot while you guys are both kind of diverging away from the focus area. And so it's a little weird. The best way I found to play her is to play much more up close than you thought you should, and then use her flight mechanic to kind of get away. But yeah, I could drop in, throw a bomb on a squishy, and then laser him down, and then just jump right the fuck out. It takes like maybe a second or 2. Now, one of the issues I have with her is if the other team is playing with characters I don't know how to play, and I have my ultimate, and it's like, okay, well, who do I take? So just take somebody who's easy to play, so I can get the ultimate and just do something and get the fuck out. So my next one, actually my next 2 are pretty surprising, and I think the next 3 are pretty on the same tier. Even maybe Echo could fall in here. But yeah, the next 3 are definitely like in the same tier. Maybe the next 3 or 4. But so the next one is Bastion, and Bastion I think is he's a sleeper pick. I think mainly due to his stench from Overwatch 1. I think a lot of people haven't completely gone over just the icky feeling you got from playing Bastion. But his turret form, the fire is very powerful, and honestly, it's a decent piece of the puzzle to countering a Roadhog. Like, it just melts his HP and forces him to heal himself. It's also great at fucking up a Doomfist who overextends like immediately. Essentially, he's just good at melting tanks with his turret form. His sticky bomb grenade is a nice cheap way to get value. I really don't like those. That mechanic, that centering mechanic that Overwatch kind of put in the game. The sticky bombs that Bastion and McCree have, I think, is so lame. But yeah, and his ultimate has been significantly improved. I think before it completely sucked, and then they took him out of the game. No, they took him out of the game because there was a glitch, right? I think he can do it twice in a row, or infinity times or something. But even then, when he had an infinity ultimate or something, nobody would play him. It's just I think they said that's why it went like unnoticed for so long. Is just nobody likes the fucking character. Um, but yeah, so they fixed it and they improved it too. So you can regularly get like maybe at least one kill off of a squishy if you do it right. And people have gotten better at it. Before, everybody would just kind of put it all in the same spot, but now it's like 1, 2, 3, trying to get a little better. But yeah, so let's move on to the next one. So number 8 is Symettra. And Symettra also is a sleeper pick in the same way that Bastion was a sleeper pick. And I think the potential for her teleporter and her turrets are huge. Although I think there could be a rework done where she doesn't need her turret form anymore. I mean, her turrets anymore. She can just kind of be the laser hero person. And also, her ultimate is weird as fuck because, I mean, I don't know. I don't care that much, right? But it's odd for a DPS character to have an ultimate that's just a giant wall that covers the whole stage. Maybe it should be more attack based, but whatever. I don't care. I don't like this character anyways, and I don't think anybody does. So yeah, to get back on that, I don't think people play with her for a few reasons. One of them is she's been bad for so long in Overwatch 1 that I don't think anybody cares to like touch her. I think she has that stench, a similar stench that Bastion has, and also, I don't think anybody ever really got used to using her teleporter. I think the teleporter could be like a stupidly powerful thing if your team, uses it correctly. Great for flanking, great for doing all these other things. But I just don't think people ever got used to that. It's something that even I have to think about when I have a Symettra on my team and then puts down a teleporter, tells us to use it. And I have to think about it. I was like, where's the F button? It's not like an automatic thing I do with like everything else I do in the game where I don't even have to think about it. Anyway, she's very powerful. I think over time people are gonna, start using her more. Maybe not. I don't think anybody really likes this character or knows anything about the character. I don't think she's in any of the, the media for the game. But yeah, she's very powerful. I think she's a sleeper pick, especially on King of the Hill maps. And if they ever find a way to fix 2 CP or, bring that back in some form or something, I think she will be a force to be reckoned with.
I would like to interrupt this video to ask you to like and subscribe. If you made it this far in the video, chances are you kind of like what I'm talking about. So, help me out, guys.
Next, I would say Torbjorn. Actually, I should probably put Torbjorn in front of Symettra. Yeah, I think I should put Torbjorn in front of Symettra. I should probably reverse that. But yeah, Torbjorn is fine. His turrets are strong and reliable. He's pretty good at surviving. His gun does a ton of damage, and his ultimate is just really good at taking space. He's not really a throw pick anymore like he was in Overwatch 1. At the beginning of Overwatch. Well, not the beginning. At the beginning, he was really strong. But at, I don't know, mid-life of Overwatch 1, where he was just kind of a throw pick, he was able to get out of the stench I keep using that Symettra and Bastion currently have on them. Symettra more than Bastion. I think he's near the end of Overwatch 1 too. He was pretty good. Even on attack, he wasn't a troll pick anymore. But yeah, it definitely really depends on the map. He's really good at kind of messing up people completely. Sombra, he's really good at shutting her down. Genji, completely good at shutting him down. Completely good at shutting down tracers too. So, and it's like a good little protector for your for the support characters. I guess. Yeah, I never really thought about it. Yeah, he's really good at protecting support characters. You just throw one down there, and then support characters have like an ally they can play around. So next is Tracer. Tracer is a pretty strong flanker. I think they found their sweet spot with their damage, where they buffed her before, and then she was just kind of melting everybody, and then they brought it down, and then, before she just wasn't doing enough damage, and then she was killing everybody. Now she's in the in-between, so I know she's fine. I still see her from time to time. She doesn't feel oppressive the way she used to, but I still feel like she can be a threat depending on who I'm playing. So I think that's a good spot. She's she can fight back pretty effectively. However, she is still good at getting the job done. Now, maybe I'm naive, but I don't really play support too much. But from my limited gameplay, from what I've seen, she feels manageable, even for even for support characters to handle, which is a good thing. Still high skill ceiling character, because essentially the movement, knowing the map, how to rewind, where to rewind, when to do it, knowing where you're going to end up and things like that is very important. She at some point she completely dominated the game, which is why they invented Brig. She was so strong. But yeah, she's definitely not what she used to be. I would say that, but she's very effective, and people are playing her more now. So we'll see what they can come up with. So the next three over here, I feel like they are in no particular order because they all do the same thing, but like differently, right? The harder it is to aim with these three, the harder it is to aim, the more damage you do. So it kind of evens out throughout the whole thing, and it's Widow, McCree, and Soldier. So I'll start going down the list. So it's Widow, McCree, and Soldier. So I'll go down the list, and it really depends on the better you can aim, the more value you're going to get from the high damage, hard to aim with characters. So for number 11, I'm going to say Widow. And it was hard placing her with McCree and Soldier. But if you can aim, she has such a high aim requirement that if you can do that, right, if you just practice a lot, all you have to do is click on heads and you kill anything. It's probably, people talk about how certain characters are kind of cheap, but this character is cheap, but everybody's kind of okay with her because they understand how hard it is. So if you can do this with her, you're going to win all your games, but it's just extremely hard to do. However, at the same time, if you can play with her, you might as well just switch to Sojourne, right? But because, better mobility, more consistent damage, a killing ultimate, and the disruptor shot. But her main problem is essentially that Sojourne is just eating her lunch every day. People who have stuck to her, but people who stuck to her have still been pretty effective. But it's just like there are better options. She's right there in ballpark of Soldier, McCree, like I said before, but offers a little bit something more, at a higher standard deviation. And what makes this funny is like Sojourne is like she's like a combination of all three of them. So yeah, if you can click on heads, she's OP. Problem is clicking on heads is a little hard. Number 12 is McCree, and McCree is pretty powerful if you can aim, and he plays more close up to the enemy team because he's a mid-range character. So it's fair. It's not that hard to aim with him, but it still requires a great deal of effort, which isn't that hard to be honest, since again he's up close to the enemy team. He's still pretty diveable, probably one of the most diveable characters in the game. But one of my favorite characters to kill as Doomfist. His role gives him a decent amount of padding, and some advice for anybody who likes to play McCree. If you want to survive off of being, sticky bound by a tracer, just roll and you'll survive. But yeah, he has a decent amount of padding. He's, I think, the thickest one of the three, because I think he has more HP and he has his roll ability. But yeah, his sticky bomb is so lame though. Getting killed by his sticky bomb feels worse than dying after getting flashed by him from Overwatch 1. Which is weird because it's getting flashed is definitely worse. It's absolutely worse, flashed than the Fan the Hammer. But this one is better, but it feels worse. Like I don't know, I really don't like. It's so low skill, does so much damage. There's nothing you can do about it. It's it just kind of sucks to be killed by it. Anyways, his burst damage really outdoes his inconsistent damage due to aim and brings him up a step above Soldier for me. Again, if the only factor is you being able to do something up to a certain degree, then that's kind of how I'm ordering this. Yeah. Also, the lack of shields has made his ultimate much more useful, and he also takes less damage when he's in his ultimate. So yeah, I think it's a pretty solid pick now. And I know we're like down at number 12, but I still think all these characters, like they're all still viable. Like it doesn't really matter as long as your tank and your support characters are doing their job. All these characters you can play. So number 13 is Soldier. And again, these three, you can just reorganize them any way you want. But yeah, of the three, he is the least demanding. He has the least demanding aiming kit. And he's the most consistent. He's very, when his ability to run is really good for repositioning. His self-healing, he's good at kind of being by himself. He's like the Mario. How for Mario and Super Smash Bros. He's like the most balanced, like evened out character, well-rounded character. It's like Soldier, you point and aim and track, you heal yourself, run and reposition. you're good. You're good. And his ultimate is pretty good too. There isn't that many shields. His ultimate is good for the same reason that McCree's ultimate is good now. So he's just more consistent. Number 14 is Pharah, and I could see an argument for putting Pharah a bit higher, but I don't know if there's one person on the enemy team who can aim, then the Pharah's kind of useless, or if they have an echo that can kind of hound you down. But yeah, Pharah was hard to place because she's really powerful in gold. I think that's for most ranks, she's just very oppressive, like all the way up to gold, maybe even like. No, I wouldn't say platinum. Platinum, people have gotten pretty good at shooting her down, and in diamond, you don't even see her anymore. But yeah, she's fine. If the enemy team doesn't have an answer to her, she goes wild. But then again, you know, there's so many Sojourns that's usually not the case. And if she's being pocketed by Mercy, she's crazy powerful. But like I said earlier, I want to do this more singularly. I just want to see what they have to offer. But she's very easy to kill. She almost never gets her ultimate off without somebody killing her. And yeah, you just need a few people focusing her. Not even focusing, just shooting at her so that she goes back down for healing. And yeah, follow up when she hits the ground. I kill her consistently with my Doomfist shotgun. So, you know, for crying out loud, just shoot her and she'll just go down. But yeah, strong ult if nobody kills her. She's kind of in a weird space, and maybe they should have put her at some. So yeah, and maybe I should have put her somewhere where she's right smack in the middle. But no, I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, she's not as bad as people think she is, or as higher level people think she is, in my opinion. But again, everybody's like viable. It seems like. So yeah, less viable from here on down until we get to the one who's just completely not even good in the game or for the game. But yeah, next is Hanzo. And Hanzo, you know, he's kind of like Widow, where he's feast or feed. And the weird thing with Hanzo is, I don't know, he's always getting headshots. Even in Overwatch 1, he just always got headshots. And when you get a headshot, you don't even know if the other person's like looking at the screen. Because I think from what I read once in a forum, the hitbox of his arrow is like the size of it's like the size of a Pharah rocket missile thing. So if any part of that hits your head, it's considered a headshot. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what it feels like. But yeah, it's he's either consistently, you know, one-shotting people or doing nothing. So do with that what you will. His ultimate, by itself, nobody really gets hit by it. But, you know, if you have like a Zarya to grab with, or, you know, is trying to contest a point, that's when it's kind of useful. I've seen some people, they know the map layout so well, they're just like, well, what you're supposed to do is like shoot your sonic arrow at a certain area to see how many people are like behind that wall area, and then from there you shoot his ultimate, and then that's how I've seen a lot of people get a lot of really good picks. I think that's what you're supposed to do, but I don't know. There's so many better options than Hanzo's. I don't really see them that much. He has really cool skins, but you know, Widow has better skins. But yeah, not really. You know, I'm not that big of a fan, but he's still viable, so you know, who cares. Number 16 is Genji. And Genji has been completely fucked with the nerf that they gave him. And he is currently my main DPS because he's still a lot of fun. And I chose him because, you know, Doomfist was my main DPS, and I really missed the mobility. I like the mobility, so that's why I picked up Genji and Echo. I'm not that good with them yet. I'm still kind of practicing, but yeah. But yeah, man, that nerf really messed him up. I made a whole video about him yesterday, and essentially they nerfed him 3 different times, right? They nerfed his damage, and then they removed the movement speed buff that all DPS characters had, and then nerfing Zarya out of the meta, so she couldn't give him the bubble anymore when he was kind of attacking the backline. Yeah, they really kind of took a lot from him, so he's just not as strong. I really do think they should bring him back, but he can still be played. I still play him. I probably can't get far with him in a high diamond, low masters game, but yeah. Well, even with Doomfist, it's pretty hard because everybody just kind of every game I play is like, what is it? When I play Doomfist, if we're winning at the beginning, they just go Roadhog, Sombra. See Sombras, which sucks. Roadhog, Sombra, Pharah, and Kiriko. and I can't do anything. So, you know, it is what it is. Not everything is viable at, you know, higher levels because they're just monsters. But anyways, he always feels like he's one shuriken volley away from killing something, but it's always forced, and he's always kind of forced to retreat because, you know, you go in, you're doing the damage, and then right before the healers now heal each other, so it's a lot harder to, you know, get value. And yeah, he just always kind of forced to leave or something like that. But he's still playable though. But they really need to revert everything back because now people got used to 5v5, and it's I don't know. The balancing team at Overwatch is, you know, I said enough about them. And last and definitely least, Sombra. Sombra, her kit just completely contradicts what the devs wanted to do for Overwatch 2. And not only is she not that good in the game right now, unless I'm playing Doomfist and then the team just completely goes to a comp to completely counter me. She's not good right now, and it's good that she's not good right now because she's one of those characters that if she's viable, the game just kind of sucks. Kind of like Roadhog. And, you know, the antithesis of that is actually Genji. If Genji is viable, then the game is good. Because he's generally pretty balanced. Like, okay, it's Genji. If he's able to do his thing, that means that he's in that space where everything could, you know... He's a very sensitive character, I guess I would say. But yeah, her ultimate is pretty powerful. She does feel like she lacks a lot of damage. And I think that one of the big issues with Sombra's is... the only way I can see a Sombra being very effective, and I love Sombra. She used to be my number 2 character to play in Overwatch 1. But the only way I see Sombras being effective is if 1, they're using their mics, or 2, they have a really good sense of what's happening at all times and can perfectly hack the person they need to hack at the right time. And that almost both of these never happened. Well, yeah, both of these almost never happened. So, you know, I think she needs a rework. I'm probably going to do a rework for her. And yeah, it's not good for the game if the character that prevents you from playing the game is viable. Like it's, I really getting hacked by her. Although it's not for that long, it still kind of sucks. I hate being interrupted. I hate all that stuff. But, you know, I guess a lot of the tanks get stunned too, right? But I don't know, something about her that just really sucks. But her ultimate does work really well with Doomfist. She does you know, that big AoE damage that can't use their abilities, so Doomfist can just kind of go in, and since all his moves hit several people, just kind of cleans up. But yeah, Torp's turrets could, you know, really mess her up. Symetra's turrets really mess her up, and just a lot of things just kind of stop her from doing what she's able to do, which is great because it sucks to be hacked. So yeah, anyways, that's my list. You know, I would say 14 out of, well, I would say 13 out of 17 are very viable. You know, 2 of them are playable, and, you know, Sombra just isn't viable right now, which is good. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget, I love you.